We have a very special guest on our program today. He is the most cited living scholar, the author of more than 100 books, and is considered the father of modern linguistics. Everyone, please welcome Professor Noam Chomsky.
Pleased to be with you.
So let's get right into it. When it comes to domestic issues, nothing is more pressing than immigration and freedom of movement. What do you think of the recent reforms in U.S. immigration policy?
Well, they shouldn't be called reforms. If you're running a death machine that shatters families and you improve the machine, that's not a reform, that's an optimization. I live in Arizona. There's an ICE facility a few miles from me. At night I can hear the screams of mothers begging to see their children again. It's not a pleasant sound. Calling it a reform is just a bad joke.
Professor, you've also been very critical of U.S. foreign policy. What are some of our effects on the world that we can see now in 2023?
Well, the most dramatic example is Iraq. We've completely destroyed the country, may never recover. If you go there now, there's basically nothing left. Some people, buildings, but that's all. Small children desperately gnawing at dried-up roots in the ground, trying to get their first meal in days. It brought a tear to my eye, which doesn't happen often. But that was our tax dollars. We funded that.
You've often advocated dissent and protest as a positive means to enact change in the world. What are some of the most effective tactics you've seen from your involvement in the anti-war movement of the 1960s?
Well, nothing that people don't already know. Boycotts, demonstrations. Put unrelenting pressure on those who make the decisions. One of the reasons for the tide turning in Vietnam was that troops had to be diverted from the front lines for crowd control. That's actually true. Protesters were, in that time, indiscriminately fired on. In those days, they'd kill you, wouldn't bat an eye. I was an organizer in one such case, actually. Called the local congressman, the Democrat Joe Lipton, and asked him to stop. He hung up on me and told me to bug off. He died last year, actually, liver cancer. He was a good guy, a family man, but just a tyrant while in office.
Your cooperation with the powerful, in particular in academia, has often drawn criticism. How do you react to the allegations of sexual misconduct and cheating occurring on campuses, at MIT in particular?
MIT? MIT, that couldn't happen.
Well, there's evidence that in at least 30 instances between 2009...
It's all lies. It's all fabrication.
Professor, there was a report released
You'll get released from your job if you don't stop that right now, you punk. You have no idea who I am or what I'm capable of.
Of course. Thank you for stopping by, Professor.
It's always a pleasure.